which is we have a dream. The reason for the reading for the bottom row is the Nine of Wands, which is kind of defensive to change, defensive of having a new beginning, defensive of maybe taking action to bring that dream into reality. And the difference between the two and the nine is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands, it has to do with something to do either are we bold and brave enough to get out of our ego to love ourselves and believe in ourselves, or are we kind of manipulated by our ego and our fear and our insecurity to keep living life the way we're living it? And also, well, let's look at the shadowy energy first. We have the Two of Cups, the Strength card, the Four of Swords, the Ace of Wands, the Four of Wands, and defensive of leaving that. Well, this could be people who are aligned with living more from their ego. This makes practical, logical sense. I should keep aligning with my ego, my emotionally defensive nature. I know I could keep taking action in shadowy Four of Wands, which is Aries energy. I know I can keep being defensive, but I can maybe find other people to get in a relationship with to come together with me in a foundation or a relationship or a marriage. And I know, I have an idea. I can use my charm or my sexuality or my looks or whatever to try to get them to be in a relationship with me, and I'll keep staying defensive. Defensive to being open and authentic and loving and just and fair. I know. Maybe I can find someone who will indulge me in a relationship because they're defensive of starting fresh, starting new. Maybe they'll indulge me in a relationship, and as long as they're willing to indulge me in a relationship or I indulge them, we can both indulge ourselves because we're both afraid of starting fresh and new or growing or maturing ourselves. Let's go look at the top row. We have the Six of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Knight of Cups, the Five of Swords, the Hangman. If we don't live our life, if we quit defending our more egoic view of life, which can be, I'm going to be defensive, I'm going to be self-centered or egotistical or materialistic. It's just defending a more worldly view of life. Getting in relationships with people because it's good for your ego and your image and your status. And by worldly standards, it looks like you've healed from past pain and heartbreak, that you've had a new beginning, that you went and got in a relationship with someone else. But that's just creating an illusion. I really haven't healed from past pain and heartbreak. I really haven't dealt with my own fears, my own insecurities, my self-limiting beliefs. I just hadn't reconciled myself with the past. The Six of Cups can be, I have a dream, and I could have had some relationships in my past that I worked with people, but then some of those people went to go get in relationships with other people, and my foundation felt wounded. And from the 4 to the 9, it caused me a lot of, in my Leo energy, a lot of inner conflict. And because it caused me inner conflict, some people did, instead of being inspired to heal about the fact that some people in our past could have kind of turned their back to us, maybe weren't the loving, supportive, and encouraging people we wish they would have been, might have been in shadowy Leo energy, maybe being a little more manipulative or prideful or egotistical or bossy or controlling. The whole thing is, the people who are willing to meditate on the truth of it that, I did try to offer those people love and encouragement. I was willing to work together with them. I wanted to work together with them in a deep, meaningful relationship. I wanted to work with them cooperatively. I was listening to my intuition. I was offering love. But some of the other people I could have worked with could have had mental conflict about looking at life differently because they have their own view of life, and everybody has their own view of life. Some people within their foundation, they're defensive. Instead of doing the work to heal from their own past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs and past pain and heartbreak and listening to their intuition and offering love to their own mental conflict to look at life differently and keep believing in their dreams and reconciling themselves with their own past, they didn't. And they thought, you know what? I'm inspired to live more from my mind than my heart, to live more from my ego and stay in my ego about the fact that I had people in my past who didn't work together with me the way I wish they would have worked with me. And I've never healed from it. So now I'm kind of repeating those same patterns, You sometimes hear in tarot about people freeing themselves from these generational curses. Everybody throughout time has dealt with people that didn't work together with them the way they wish they would have worked together with them. High vibe, Six of Cups, Scorpio energy, where we could be free to be ourselves, where we had, equal give and take, where people could be authentic and vulnerable and they weren't fearful of people taking advantage of them and trying to manipulate them and control them. But sadly, we could have worked together with some people that we didn't know were operating more out of their fear, their insecurity, their pride and ego, their past pain and heartbreak. And we were working together with them, and then we felt stuck. Because while we were listening to our intuition, having hope and faith and belief in our dreams, the other person had mental conflict about doing that. And maybe that's not how they viewed how people should work together in a family, in a workplace, and they're kind of defensive and they kind of get caught up in their head instead of listening to their intuition. In the Seven of Swords, they have a dream, but they're not listening to their intuition. And the other people are listening to their intuition and they're letting love guide their decisions. And when they have mental conflict about something, they offer love to themselves and their own mental conflict to expand their perception of how they view themselves and the world. Because, in tarot, you can hear a lot of conversation about how we repeat these past patterns. We have these ways of doing things, some people keep repeating the same patterns of the way that they grew up, even though the way they grew up and the people and how those people could have dealt with them caused them to kind of be in shadowy energy and maybe operate more from their ego and maybe make life more about being defensive and maybe bossy and controlling in their Aries energy and not listening to their intuition. But the whole thing is, people have to be willing to work through their fears and their insecurities and their past pain and heartbreak and these old patterns of the past, to be willing to say, am I willing to take the good things that I learned and then be inspired to listen to my own intuition and my own dreams, and in my Aries energy, be bold and brave enough to detach. The Five of Pentacles detaches from the Four of Pentacles, which can be clinging to this old way of being. Well, no, we got to do it the way they've done it. No, we got to do it the way my parents did it. No, we got to do it the way everybody else is doing it. No, we got to do it out of fear and insecurity, and we got to control things and we got to manipulate things. How about we let go of that old way of being, but we have to be willing to admit that maybe there was some lessons to be learned. We have to get out of our ego. Our ego keeps us from healing, from seeing the truth. That maybe we are supposed to listen to our intuition. And the whole thing is, the Knight of Cups and the Hangman card are Pisces energy, which is about connecting in with your emotions and your intuition and your dreams. Aries energy in the Two of Wands is I have a dream. But some people are really defensive in their Aquarius energy of looking at life like from a higher perspective and having some hope and faith and belief in themselves and believing they can heal from their past pain and heartbreak and their self-limiting beliefs. If they were willing to do that and get out of their head and listen to their intuition and maybe offer love to themselves and to the situation, they could quit repeating this old pattern and way of being in their life and way of repeating these ways of being in relationships and in households and in families and in workplaces. And they'd be free to move forward more in the energy of love. you know, we have this dualistic nature. And it's interesting that these come out this way because the Five of Pentacles is Taurus energy, which has to do with our underlying philosophy of life. What is going to be our underlying philosophy of life? Do I let love and my intuition guide my decisions? Or do I get caught up in my mind and my ego and my fear and my insecurity and my need to control things? And, our shadow energy is represented by the devil. We're going to have some hard lessons to learn. Love was the answer. And I think we come down to this planet into a world of duality. Can you imagine, that it's like the biggest thing to be bold and brave enough to come down from the spiritual realm where you kind of know everything and nothing is veiled and hidden, to saying, I bet I could come down to earth and I bet I could come into a human body and I bet even though I have my worldly nature, I bet I'll love and believe in myself to overcome my fears and my insecurities and to love and believe that I can manifest my dreams into reality because, that's what human beings do. We manifest our next week, next year, the next 10 years of our life into reality based on what we think is true. But do we incorporate love into what we think is true? Do we have hope and faith and belief in our dreams? Do we listen to our intuition? Or do we get so caught up in thinking we're so smart, I'm going to ignore my intuition? Our intuition was given to us as a gift to help us navigate this world, just like bats have sonar and all the animal kingdom has certain things that they use that they know that were gifts given to them to help them navigate in the world, just like birds and butterflies fly to warmer climates in the winter. They don't question. It's like, why the fuck am I flying for 5 days? I don't know, but I'm listening to it. We're the only ones who have free will. It's like, no, I'm going to not listen to that. No, I'm going to leave my emotional, intuitive nature out in the world, out in the cold. No, not going to work with that foundation. No, I'm so smart. I think I can figure this out. I don't have to listen to my intuition. Even though their intuition could be telling them that maybe you should invest in love. Because if not, you keep repeating the same pattern over and over and over, and you keep wondering why nothing ever changes. It's like nothing ever changes because you either keep investing in the same type of people who might be in shadowy energy. Are they immature, prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, have a lot of life lessons to learn, but you keep emotionally investing in them? Why do we do that? Because we have lessons to learn about letting our heart run our life. And we've all got these lessons to learn in our life. about letting our mind run our life and our fear and our insecurity or our lust or our greed or our materialistic nature. We've all got to learn these lessons in life. So, not letting one aspect of our life or a few aspects of our life run our life so much that we're kind of bumping along in the ditch of life. I can love people and wish them peace, hope they heal, and have good boundaries to them, and be defensive of offering them a new beginning or coming together with them in a relationship. Because high vibe people have already been in relationships with people like that. And if you show me that you're defensive to seeing the truth, that you're defensive, you don't really want to do love, you're prideful and egotistical, yeah, no, don't want to be in a relationship with you. You're self-centered, no. You're manipulative, you try to manipulate people instead of being open and honest and authentic, no, not going to be in a relationship with you. You're more motivated by the world and the image and status. That's what drives and motivates you. That's your truth. Well, that's not my truth. I wish you peace. I hope your life works out. But some of you have learned some lessons in life that some other people haven't learned yet. And they're maybe going to go learn lessons the hard way because they're not listening to their intuition, because they could just be defensive to even thinking that there is any other purpose for being on this planet than what the world says it is. And if the world says it's about indulging yourself, they're going to go indulge. That's living the dream. Look at me and all the things and people I'm getting in a relationship with. Yeah, you go. And other people are going to go get in relationships and have deep, meaningful relationships with people who work together with them because they love them. And they've both been enlightened to the truth, where these people might go to try to find other people that are in their ego and fearful and insecure, and they're going to try to go manipulate them. Wow. Way to go. You should be proud of yourself that you're not being truthful and honest and you're trying to manipulate and deceive people because you have fear of love and you have fear of investing in love. So you want to keep just living in fantasy land. Or some people, they want other people to give up on their dreams, and they're very shadowy. They're very egotistical and self-centered, and this is how they view life. It's all about me, isn't it? Isn't it trying to get someone to stop investing in loving themselves, to believe in themselves and believe in their dreams? Isn't it trying to deceive someone into kind of indulging me in a relationship? It's all about me after all, isn't it? How about you make your life all about me? And I have a lack mentality. I don't love and believe in myself, and I don't look at life from a higher perspective. I have a lot of fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs and past pain and heartbreak I don't deal with. And I'm all motivated about either indulging myself in the world, and I want you to indulge me like you would indulge a child, and you give up on your dreams because you love me, right? And you're willing to enable me in my poor behavior, and I'm going to be deceptive and manipulative and defensive in this relationship, and I'm going to do things that make you feel left out in the cold because I don't want you to love and believe in yourself, and you'll keep putting in work and effort to be in this relationship with me. And as long as you keep willing to indulge me in it being all about me, because you have lessons to learn about equally balanced, loving relationships, because every relationship is balanced. It's either a just and fair relationship, or we're both kind of in the ditch in our fear and our insecurity and our pride and our ego and our addictions, or one person is in shadow and one person's kind of like loving and nurturing, and that person indulges them in their poor behavior, and you don't have it's balanced in the sense that it's equally out of balance, but it's not a just and fair and balanced relationship. The loving people aren't in a relationship with someone who's treating them the way they want to be treated. And sometimes it's the shadowy, defensive, self centered, egotistical person that has basically come into someone's life to teach them, are you going to keep staying in this relationship? I don't know. Is it a God complex? A savior complex? Oh, no, no, no. No, the most important thing is for me to keep loving them. No, no. I'm sure one day they'll get out of their pride and ego. I'm sure one day they'll get out of their bossy controlling. It's this whole thing of like, I want to win. We can repeat a pattern of being drawn and attracted to getting in relationships with people who might subconsciously remind us of people in our past that we wish would have worked together with us cooperatively. We had a dream. We wanted them to love us. And if we don't see the truth of that, we can be drawn in and heal from it and offer ourselves the things that we wish they would have given us to keep balance within ourselves, to love ourselves, to free ourselves from the past so we don't keep being drawn and attracted to people who subconsciously remind us of people from our past. We'll keep trying to get people who show those same kind of traits and characteristics of those type of people who kind of turn their back on healing things with us. And there's some people in the world right now who aren't seeing the truth. Because if we're in relationships with people who are loving, why aren't we moving forward with the loving, encouraging, supportive people who want us to become all that we can be? Probably, in a sense, because we haven't learned to love ourselves. There's something about our past that keeps us stuck. And it can be that other people in our life didn't work together with us the way we wanted to. And those could have been very significant people in our life. It could be people that we grew up with. It could have been, depending on how old you are, people that we did have a deep kind of connection with. And, I'm just thinking, for one, you have to be willing to see the truth. Why are we, we can be drawn and attracted to certain people. Why are we drawn and attracted to those people? I mean, again, it's true. The Six of Cups can talk about, we can work together with people and everything can seem to be going fine in the relationship for quite a long time. And everybody could have been okay in the relationship, even if they were kind of mismatched, one operating and more motivated by pride or ego or indulgence, and one kind of more motivated by love and hope and faith and belief. But when one of the people has kind of healed and they're ready to kind of go to the next level of life, to step out of their comfort zone and do life differently, that's when it can cause a problem for the other people, because there maybe is some self-limiting belief that they have, or just the fact that it's really hard to comprehend, but that some people never planned on becoming more independent from their worldly view of life, and that's how they view life, and that's the kind of relationships that they want to be in, and that's what drives and motivates them. And it isn't about putting in work and effort to heal from past pain and heartbreak, to live life differently. I'm okay living my life like this, and I'm okay not stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm okay making my life about looking like a shining star in the world. I have no interest in making my life about more. Some people are all about conforming to the world and not, there's that Bible verse, don't conform to this world, but be, don't conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But that means we have to get out of our ego, be willing to admit that maybe we have lessons to learn, and that if we really want our dreams to come into reality, it's about trying to maintain balance of the fact that we do have this worldly nature. We do have our more immature, selfish, greedy, prideful, me nature, and thinking we know best. But there is the seed planted within us that wants us to grow to our full potential. And that's where our intuition kicks in. And it says, we could do our life like this, or maybe I should face some of my fears and insecurities and deal with some of my mental conflict about looking at life differently, expanding my perception of myself and how I view myself in the world and what I believe is possible. And maybe quit being so caught up in the world and my ego and my image and thinking that's the end all be all. Because if my intuition is kind of calling to me, am I going to love and believe in myself to be willing to move forward in life differently and work through all my fears and insecurities I have about being more balanced, where I'm not tipped into being more aligned with my mind or my fear or the world or my ego? From the 9 down to the 3, we'd have to quit moving forward in a shadowy 6 of Swords energy, which is about looking like a shining star in the world. That's the most important thing, isn't it? Well, I don't know. Are you in a job that you love? Are you in relationships with people that you love? Are you in relationships with people who are loving and encouraging you to believe all that you can be? Or are you in relationships with people who are trying to manipulate you, trying to make you settle for less than you deserve? Are we willing to give birth to something new? Are we willing to put in the work and effort to believe that we deserve to be in just and fair relationships? That we deserve to feel balanced within ourselves, not so tipped out of balance that our mind is running our life, our fear is running our life, our ego is running our life, or the world. So worried about what other people are going to think about us if we were to live our authentic life and to be in the jobs and career fields with the people that we really love and inspire us, to be in relationships with people who are loving and nurturing? Or are we going to keep working and trying to get other people to be loving and just and fair when they've already shown us they're not loving and just and fair? And that maybe the way we've been living our life has been more about our fear and our insecurity and our ego. Do we desire to be free? High vibe energies about being free. And just like in our life, at age 15, we live our life a certain way. It's perfect. It's appropriate. We're 15. But then when we're getting closer to age 18, we let go of some of those more immature ways of being, and it's become old, and we kind of are ready to maybe face some of our fears and insecurities of things that we need to do when we're more like an 18-year-old. And then the same thing happens when we're going to go be 21. We keep growing and maturing ourselves. And life-giving energy is about humanity growing and maturing ourselves. Not everybody being fearful and afraid of listening to their intuition and giving birth to anything differently, that we keep doing the same old thing. It'd be like humanity staying in caveman era and nobody willing to be bold and brave enough in their Aries energy to say, you know what? I have a lot of fond memories about the way we've done things. But my intuition is telling me that maybe we could do things differently. Maybe we could Instead of living in a cave, maybe there's a way we could come up with putting these sticks together to build a house in a tree so all the wild animals don't come in at night. And maybe I figured out how to build a channel so we could pee one place and it all runs downhill so we don't all have to keep digging a hole in the ground. And then look at all the things that human beings have manifested into reality since caveman days. None of these things that are in our world just magically popped into existence. People had to be willing to get out of their ego, to heal from their self limiting beliefs, be willing to detach from some other people in the world who said, oh, no, 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 we should keep doing it this way. Oh, no, 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 don't do that. No, I'm going to try to stop you. No, I'm fearful of you doing that. You don't go live your life that way. Don't believe in your dreams. And some people are like, sorry, I got to listen to my intuition. I have this idea. I want to give birth to something new. And there's other people that we can have in our life that, because they don't live their life any differently, and they might stay in situations that are in their comfort zone, and they could keep ignoring their intuition, or they might have let loving people keep them in shadowy situations, and they didn't get the just and fair relationship they wanted to be in. And sometimes if those people are enabling other people or enabling their own fearful, insecure nature and their shadow run their life, they don't want other people to go live the life of their dreams, because, well, then I'd feel stuck. What if you go listen to your intuition and you have a brand new beginning and I'm stuck back here repeating a pattern of the past? It's like, well, you have free will, and it doesn't have to mean the relationships that they're in. It's just like, are you in a job that you like? Are you living your life in a way that you like? Are you repeating the same old patterns and ignoring your intuition? If we listen to our intuition, and in high vibe Leo energy, we temper our more beastly nature and offer love to our fears and our insecurities that try to get us up in our head, and look at life from a higher perspective, having some hope and faith and belief that we can heal, that others can heal. But if they're making the free will choice not to heal and to see the truth, then, you know, sometimes the best thing we can do is not keep indulging them in their shadowy ways of being. Why aren't they freeing themselves? Probably because of their own fears and insecurities. But there could be people in their life too that they would need to detach from, and they could be codependent on those people or the world at large to validate their sense of worth and value, or they look to those people to provide them stability and security. They look to the world as the answer to their problems or their addiction or other people, instead of being more independent in the world. And sometimes, the best thing we can do is show other people how you do break free from people that you love. But if those people are trying to manipulate you and repeating some old patterns and being stubborn and being prideful and being deceptive and being manipulative, this is how you do it. You expand your perception of yourself and the world around you and what you believe is possible. And I'm not meant to be stuck in a little bit of hell. I have free will, and I can choose to create a little heaven on earth. And if the people I'm in relationship with are manipulated by the things they're manipulated by, and they haven't freed themselves, then I can't create a little heaven on earth with them, even though I love them. So I wish you peace. If you want to stay in a little bit of hell, I hope it works out. But I'm going to expand my perception of myself and the world around me and believe in my dreams, and I'm going to temper my fears and my insecurities. And even though I wanted a dream to come into reality with some of those people, and I wish they would have moved forward with me, if they're not willing to align with truth and love, then you're either in a relationship being truthful and honest and authentic and warm and loving and encouraging for everyone to believe in their dreams and become all they can be, or you're trying to be in a relationship with people, kind of trying to manipulate them to do the relationship the way you want. And it's not based on truth and love and justice and fairness. It might be because they have this old way of living life that they don't want to detach from, or a way of viewing life they don't want to become enlightened about. You know, I have my view of the world. I don't view the world the way you view it. I don't think there's any other purpose to being on this planet than what the world says. You look at life differently and they don't agree. You know, it can't just be that. It's like, okay, everybody has free will to choose what their dream life is supposed to be and what they think it will be that they think will make them happy. And if I realize that's not my dream life, and to live my life from my ego or my fear or my insecurity and be manipulated by my ego, I want to be free. And I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to take the lessons I've learned from this life experience, and I'm going to become independent. Know my worth and value, become independent by doing this work within myself. So here we have the Three of Pentacles. Here we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups can represent the past. The Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. High vibe Capricorn energy that we can all harness, because shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. We all have this dualistic nature. We can all want to repeat a pattern of the past. We can all want and wish to heal things with people that we have love for in our life. But if they're not making the free will choice in high vibe Capricorn energy to put in the work and effort to reconcile themselves with the things of the past that they need to reconcile themselves with to move forward in life, to bring a dream into reality, well, if I keep staying in a relationship with them, I'm going to feel stuck and I won't be able to move forward. I would be in moving forward, investing in someone who has a lot of mental conflict about looking at life differently. And I do look at life differently. And though I might love someone that in their Aries, Leo, and Aquarius energy is more motivated and inspired by the world and looking like a shining star in the world, or willing to indulge people to look like they have it all in the world, or willing to be in relationships where other people just indulge them, where they're kind of codependent on them, and that's how they like to live life. The truth sets us free. And there too, some people are in their own loving relationships, and we got to get out of our ego about that. Apparently, that isn't the person. The divine must have another plan for our life. So I'm going to take the lessons I've learned. I'm going to believe in my dreams. I'm going to temper my ego, my fears, and my insecurities of being up in my head. And I'm going to trust that the divine has a plan for my life, because the divine doesn't expect us to keep staying stuck because there's other people in the world who aren't willing to work with us, And it's about, in Virgo energy, again, we go from the Three of Pentacles to a Nine of Pentacles, meaning this whole process here of all of this is about getting balanced within ourselves in the world and getting aligned with our foundational belief systems in Taurus energy, to realize that other people have their own philosophy of life that dictates kind of the decisions that they make in life, or they're just in other loving relationships, and we reconcile ourselves with that, to know our worth and value, to keep moving forward in an energy of love, being emotionally balanced, because the Chariot card is Cancer energy, about love and home and family and self. That, I'm not going, it's kind of like the divine, God could look at the world and it doesn't matter kind of in a way what the world does. God's like, I can work with that. And God's not going to stop manifesting what they're manifesting. You know, God will use everything that people are doing in the world. Oh, are you kind of in shadowy energy? I'm going to help. This person has some lessons to learn about shadowy people. This person's kind of going to be drawn and attracted to you. And we're going to use your shadowy traits and characteristics to try to catapult them and learn these lessons in life, that they can be a very loving, nurturing person, but they've also got to learn to love themselves and believe in themselves and not settle for less than they deserve, because I have a plan for their life, and we're going to use you to get in a relationship with them, and they're going to kind of feel stuck, and they're going to offer you a lot of love and encouragement. And if you make the free will choice to choose love, you could move forward with them and have a dream come into reality, but you got free will. If you don't, that's okay. Hopefully this person over here will make the free will choice that though they love you, they're going to move away from you and keep their distance from you, because you keep not making the free will choice to choose love. And the people who are loving and abundant and nurturing and stable and grounded and balanced are going to have victory in their life, because they kept being motivated and inspired by love. And there's going to be other people in the world who are going to want to invest in them, because they see the fact that, like, so you're not taking action in your life out of fear and insecurity and pride and ego and lust and greed and envy and jealousy. You're like a loving, abundant, emotionally stable, grounded person. Wow. You know, I got relationships with some people and I had to move forward, and I've been waiting a long time to meet someone like you. And I've been kind of wondering if anyone was ever going to come along. If anyone else was ever going to detach from their more immature ways of being and defensive ways of being, to love and believe in themselves, to become emotionally independent from their own more immature nature, and then therefore the more immature people they got in a relationship with. And now that someone has, like, oh my gosh, here is someone in high vibe Page of Swords energy, having that hopeful, believing nature that I can move forward with, because we both know our worth and value. We've both learned lessons in life. We've both become emotionally independent of our more immature, unstable ways of being, and therefore the other people in our life who could have been in our life to teach us those lessons. And we're both ready to step into unknown territory, because we're listening to our heart and intuition to guide us, because we've healed, because we went to go within to gain insight and understanding that we previously dealt with people who created the illusion that they were loving, but they were kind of wearing a false mask and living more from their mind than our heart. And we both realized that if we kept moving forward with people like that, and us hiding our more loving, healed nature, that we were going to keep moving forward being left out in the cold. And we learned the lesson to detach in that old way of being and speak up for truth and justice and fairness and character and integrity to get our divine inheritance. And those are the people we're going to keep investing time, energy, and effort into. And we're not going to keep investing time, energy, and effort into our own shadow nature and taking action in our shadow nature. And when we don't invest in that within ourselves, we're not investing in other people who take action in their life because of those reasons. And we're only going to move forward with people who are speaking the truth, who are just and fair and balanced and loving and warm and nurturing and supportive. And then we have nothing but to manifest in our life but those things. Yeah, and underneath that is love and having your dreams come into reality. So let's go see what's coming up for the people. Let's kind of move these out of the way. For the people who harness and are ready, you know, we're all ready to do that at different times in your life. Everybody just has to listen to their own intuition. You know, if we were going to step out on a big stage in the world, kind of like what we do in our own life, but say metaphorically, we had to go step out on a big stage in front of people and we're not ready to do that. Yeah, it could probably not go very well. You know, we're all ready to step out onto the stage of our life at different times in our life. So don't beat yourself up. We've all got lessons to learn. When we're ready, and we just need to realize that about some people in our life. When they're ready to do it, they might do it. In the meantime, we're not meant to stay stuck in mental conflict. We're meant to keep listening to our intuition, going with the flow, knowing our worth and value, moving forward in life, investing in those things that motivate and inspire us. And if it doesn't motivate, inspire some of the people that we had been in relationship with to do this work within themselves, well, then maybe there is nothing that will motivate and inspire them to do life differently. And we come to terms with that over time, and it frees us to be ready to get in relationships with other people, you know? What's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Aries energy that they might not see coming up? And there could be some people right now that could have been working with some people and they've been doing this work within themselves. And some of those people are ready to go invest in the people in the world. Some of you could have made an offer to some people. And the whole thing is, if those people aren't willing to invest in working together with you and bringing this dream into reality, it's like, well, I guess we're not on the same page. And it can be confusing because it kind of be like, God, I thought they were the person, God. And it's like, you know, God knows the truth of where people are and what lessons they have to learn. And God knows if you've learned some lessons that some other people haven't learned. And if they're not there yet, they're not there yet. And keep moving forward and keep knowing your worth and value and keep moving forward and keep trying to, you know, just be a loving, supportive person in the world. And eventually you'll meet the people you're on the same page with. What the high vibe people might not see coming up is the Queen of Pentacles. And the reason that came out is because of the Seven of Cups. Well, for people just starting out on this journey, the people are doing this work to emotionally grow and mature themselves, to get out of their illusions about people in their life and offering them self-love to free themselves from their own illusions and their own emotional confusion. And as people go through that process, which some of you already have, you know, the whole part of working through this process is to get over our illusions and being in our ego about people that we wish would have been nurturing and loving in our life who weren't, for us to become that nurturing, loving, supportive person within ourself, being our own best mother, father, coach voice within ourself, to free ourselves and offer peace to the past, to just realize that not everybody freed themselves to be open to giving and receiving love, and we accept the truth of it and we heal from it, and then we listen to our intuition, because some of the relationships we wanted to be in didn't work out, so, or they weren't just or fair or kind. We're going to believe in our dreams and invest in other people in the world who we think harness those high vibe energies. And there might be someone who emotionally is on the same page as you. And I view the Queens in Tarot can talk about our emotional state and how we think and feel. And I view the Queen of Pentacles as Taurus energy. So what you might not see coming is you could have different types of people that you meet or that approach you and might want to be a marriage partner to you, because the King and Queen of Pentacles is the only marriage to the deck. But we do live in a world of duality, meaning you have free will choice. So you might be given some options. The Seven of Cups talks about options. And the whole thing is for you to listen to your intuition about the different people who might come towards you from your past and different people you might meet in your future. And there are going to want to be people, if you're a loving, just, fair, emotionally balanced, nurturing, supportive person, yeah, people are going to want to be in a relationship with you. But why? Some of them, it's for shadowy reasons. The people they were in relationship with were defensive. They felt left out in the cold, and they're just looking for someone else to invest in. They could even still be heartbroken, and it's kind of like looking to other people, like people look to booze or drugs or food to make them feel better, and you're just a person for them to get in a relationship with to feel better. But and so listen to your intuition about people like that. There could be other people that are more worldly and ego and image focused, but the relationship with those people didn't work out. So they know they don't view life the same way you do, but um, they could hope that if they got in a relationship with you, someone who's loving, that the people who they really are more in line with how they view their life will be defensive that they move forward with someone loving, and then that person will make them an offer to heal things, and they'll go back, so kind of like using you as a pawn in their game. And so listen to your intuition about that. And then you might have other people who really have done this same work and effort within you, and they'll speak their truth, and you just have to listen to your intuition about who's who. And maybe with the hangman here, it's kind of like, I'm not investing in a new beginning with anyone until I find out if they're independent of the past, if they are independent of their more fearful, insecure, prideful, egotistical. Oh, there's a card back there I hadn't seen. Oh, wait, I had seen that before earlier. I want to find out the truth before I move forward with someone. So I'm going to temper my lust or my greed or whatever. My want to be in a relationship. I'm going to temper myself to make sure that the people that I would be moving forward with are independent of the past and their more lustful, greedy, prideful nature, because I want to invest in someone who's motivated and inspired by love, not ego and image and indulgence. What's coming up for the people who harness a more shadowy Aries energy that they might not see coming up? Okay, 2 cards not showing themselves because of the world. Well, for one thing, sometimes the people that are shadowy, they purposely do these shadowy things in a relationship, especially if they're in a mismatched relationship, because they don't want the loving person they're in a relationship with to kind of keep growing and maturing themselves and willing to move forward in life differently, because they don't want to move forward in life differently. And so they purposely turn their back on them and do these things to cause them a lot of mental conflict and make them feel stuck and make them keep putting in work and effort to make this relationship work. Quit doing work within yourself to temper your own fears and your own insecurities and deal with your own past pain and heartbreak. Don't do any of that, because I'm not going to do that. Keep focused on me and indulging me in a relationship. I don't plan to become all that I can become. I don't plan to free myself, and I don't want you to free yourself. And sometimes they do these shadowy things and they repeat some poor past patterns in the past, thinking the person they're in a relationship will feel stuck because they know you love them and you wanted this dream to come into reality. So it's kind of like using the love that you have for them against you. I know you love me. I know you want this dream to come into reality. But instead of me working with you cooperatively and doing the work within myself I need to do to heal from my own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, that takes work and effort, and I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to try to manipulate you and use the love that you have for me to get you stuck and confused and make you do the relationship the way I want, where I don't have to work through any of my mental conflict. And you won't get your dreams come into reality because I'm not willing to do the things I need to do within myself. And for some of those people, they thought they were really smart and they thought that was a good idea. And what some of those people don't see coming is that a relationship's going to end on them because the other people did have a lot of mental conflict and felt stuck being in relationships with people who chose to repeat these poor past patterns of being defensive to detaching from some of their old ways of being and learning some lessons in life and getting out of their fear and insecurity. And those people saw, my dream can't come into reality with these people. And that's kind of the pattern that happens for people who keep being in shadowy energy, that if they get in relationships with other people who love and believe in themselves, who don't want to settle for less than they deserve, and they believe in love and they believe in just and fair relationships, eventually the high vibe people close out a cycle with them. There's I tried to offer you love and encouragement to heal, but you kept turning your back. You don't want to see the truth. And part of the truth is that you might have this philosophy of life that you should be indulged in a relationship, or that people should give up their dreams to work together with you in a relationship for some reason, very self-centered or egotistical. Or you don't seem to realize that you repeat some poor past patterns in a relationship, maybe based on things of people in your life, and maybe they did it for the people they grew up, and it's been generation after generation of generation. And I want to be in relationships with people who are willing to break generational curses, who are willing to get out of their pride and ego, to let love and intuition guide them. So I wish you peace. And I'm going to go find the people in the world who might want to work together with me. And they didn't see that coming. Some people could have thought that if they backstabbed the people in their life who were balanced, that those people would put an end to being balanced, and it would throw them out of balance, and they'd come back and want to be in a relationship with them. And for some of those people, the people saw the truth. You did backstab and betray me. I was trying to work to help you free yourself from the things that imprison you, but you're not willing to put an end to those things and detach from those things, or detach from those things that make you feel safe and secure, which can be hiding behind your ego and your emotionally defensive nature. Or you are very materialistic and egotistical in the world, and you're not willing to put an end to your more worldly nature. Or you're someone who likes to juggle in the world, and you like to present yourself as one way to the world, but stay aligned with your more shadowy ways of being. And you don't want to put an end to that. Or you think you can juggle people, where you get people in relationships, but you don't really invest in them. And then people basically feel left out in the cold being in a relationship with you. And other people have worked through all the complexity and various thoughts they had about being in a relationship with someone who's like that. And those people aren't in their life anymore. And they ended the relationship with them. And they moved on. And some of these people, for some of them, they're very prideful and egotistical. And they think that there's people in the world that should want to be in a relationship with them. Some people can really live in fantasy land. They could be so full of themselves because they've adopted some philosophy of life that if I have this type of money, or I look this way, or blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, there always might be someone new. They do maybe have those things of the world. In Leo energy could mean that they shine bright in the world, that they could be attractive, that they could be very successful in the world. Yes, there's going to be people that are going to get attracted to being in a relationship with them. But when the other people want to move forward in life, and these people are resistant to that, it causes the other people mental conflict. They see the other person probably has past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs or self-centeredness that they don't deal with. And they realize they're going to be stuck if they keep staying in a relationship with them. And people end a relationship with them. Some of the people right now that are in shadowy energy could have a relationship end with them. They thought for sure these people were going to move forward with them and they were going to look like a shining star. And for some of those people, they're going to have a relationship end on them. And part of the reason is because other people have figured out what these people were hiding. And what these people are hiding is that they really do live much more from their mind than their heart. And they just try to juggle that in the world. So they try to present themselves as, I'm stable and grounded and loving and nurturing and, you know, I work together with people cooperatively in a relationship. I'm ready to have a new beginning. But the truth is, they're not. It's all trying to mentally strategize how to get people to get in a relationship with them where they can continue to juggle. I want to present myself as being this way and have everybody believe that I'm that person because I have these things that I don't deal with and I don't want to deal with. And I don't want to have to deal with those things, so I want to keep juggling. And I might want to be in relationships with people where I work with them because it's good for my ego and my image and my status and it indulges me emotionally or sexually. But I don't really want to have to grow up and learn lessons in life and detach from anything. Any of my ways of being, I want to keep moving forward with those things. And because of that, another thing they might not see coming it's just that the world is changing and there's a lot of other people in the world that have put an end to juggling because we did just end like astrologic is it in the world of astrology we're ending a big period in Capricorn energy, which is all, I don't know if it was like a 200-year cycle of where we put all this work and effort. And probably the reason we put all this work and effort into the world and we all got caught up in it and it was a primary focus in our life was because we did need to build all this infrastructure in the world. But now that we have that and we've learned what we needed to learn and how capable and whatever we are, now it could be time to be more motivated and inspired by our dreams and entering an age of Aquarius of looking at life in the bigger picture. We have built, look at all the things that we've built and produced and are capable of in the world. Now it's kind of to move beyond that to a higher perspective. And some of these people could kind of end up feeling maybe a little left behind in the world because other people are just going more with the flow that things change. And it's kind of like people who are like, no, we should keep living life like we did in the 1960s. And I refuse to change how we do things here in the workplace or in relationships. And I want to keep doing things like that. Well, you can keep trying to resist going with the flow, and being more independent of your fear and your insecurities to change, to move forward, being inspired by this new philosophy of life, which is about people tempering their pride and their ego and their fear and their insecurity and their more ego, and center of attention way of life to really try to invest in helping other people in the world becoming maybe unstuck and making it about love because we're maybe needing that in the world. Another thing they might not see coming is someone might come towards them. We have someone coming towards them. They might have someone coming towards them wanting to get in a relationship with them. and they present themselves as having maybe all those things of the world that they want. And this person could be like, oh my God, this is perfect. This is someone who seems to be willing to indulge me in my ego and things about the world. But what they might not know is the person who's coming towards them representing the fact that they have everything that they could want in the world is hiding that maybe the whole reason they've come into their life. You know, when we have lessons to learn, we'll probably get involved in some things that kind of drag our life off into the ditch. And it's kind of like, really, is this where you want to live your life? Down here in the ditch? Or do you want to maintain balance on the road of life to move forward victorious and successfully? You know, you can bump along in the road and all these bad things that can happen. You know, this person has maybe really come into their life to put an end to their juggling, to force them to have to pick a path. You either, this is it, we are in this relationship and it's all about ego and image, no more juggling. There gets a point in people's life they've got to pick a path, and they don't realize this person could be coming into their life to be the person to either where they decide to make their life all about ego and image and status and materialism and moving forward, feeling left out in the cold from love because they have aligned with ego or indulgence or addiction. Or that person's going to be the person who came into their life to make them realize you better change your life if you don't want to be in a little bit of hell. If all the things of the world that I offer you isn't real, to make them realize if you have these things of the world and you don't have love, it's this resounding gong. Are you going to keep staying in it? Some of them will, and they'll make that free will choice. And some of them thought for sure if they had those things that they would be happy, and they feel stuck and they realize, oh my gosh, I've got to get myself out of this because I'm in a relationship with someone who is a reflection of my own shadow energy, who's manipulating me, controlling me, bossy, controlling, self-centered, egotistical. And I thought that was great because they were driven and motivated by the same things I was, but they're not loving. And am I willing to settle for being in a relationship that it seems like I have it all, but I don't have love? And that's their free will choice to decide. So there you go, Aries energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.